The year is 2003. A band named Blink-182 is about to release an untitled record. I'm sitting at home watching MTV, and video for Feelin' This makes its world premiere. And I'm instantly hooked. Becomes a record that I love forever. Fast forward to now, 2022, October. They get back together for a song called Edging. And let's talk about it, I guess. This is Not Every Single. I'm Joe.
And I'm Stephanie.
Yeah, so there's a lot to cover here because the Blink story is like a soap opera. Mm-hmm. But the basic gist being, I mean, you all know, the band breaks up in like 2005. They do their own bands. Then they come back together in 2009 after Travis's plane crash. They do Neighborhoods, which is a record I'd like to talk about. You've never heard it. I think it's missing Jerry Finn, the producer on Untitled. But it's not bad. Then they do like a little EP called Dogs Eating Dogs. And all of a sudden, Tom DeLonge is out of the band. Then I kind of stopped paying attention because, let's get this out of the way, not a fan of the Matt Skiba era. Are you? Are you a huge Skiba head?
Listen, I mean, I've heard Untitled.
You've heard the old hits, too.
I've heard the hits.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember thinking that it was cool that he stepped in. He's from Alkaline Trio. I remember when it first happened and they were like, you know, all this stuff's going down with Tom, but we're not canceling our festival dates. And so they were billed as Blink-182 with Matt Skiba. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. I like that. And then hearing, oh, they're going into the studio to make a Blink album together was odd. And then Bored to Death came out, which is
aptly titled.
Yeah, aptly named. You know, it has its fans. That's totally fine. Definitely not the worst thing they've made. Speaking of the worst thing they made, then came a record called 9. And then, you know, last 2 years haven't been much going on in the Blink world. Mark was battling cancer, and it's awesome that he's back and feeling good. And all these rumors circulating. Is Tom coming back? Remember like 2 months ago?
Yeah,
or something?
and they were like denying flat out, being like, we'll let you know or something.
No, it was just like there's no announcement.
Yeah.
Like you'll know if there's an announcement or something. It was Mark on his Discord.
I think he was annoyed that, I mean, of course it was going to get out.
Yeah, it felt like the time. You know, you got Paramore back, you got My Chemical Romance back, and even out of the pop punk genre, just all these big 90s and early 2000s bands on big nostalgia tours.
Yeah, When We Were Young festival is just like, I mean, a time capsule.
It really is. It's the perfect time. So when Mark came out, I was like, there's no announcement, there's nothing to do with Tom, blah, blah, blah. It was kind of like, oh, well, okay. It made total sense.
There was like an anniversary of an album or something.
It was the anniversary of the band.
Okay.
So it would have been a great time to announce it, but, you know, who knows how things work with logistics in this world. So now, a couple months later, it comes true. The prophecy comes true. Tom comes back, and our yeds are blown. You like that?
Yeah.
So that's the context. I'm sure you all know. I mainly wanted to get out of the way the whole Skiba thing. I don't really want to get into it because I have a lot of respect for the fact that he jumped in and kept this band alive. Maybe it would have been cooler if they just went away and it would be more effective that they're coming back now. But there's a lot of people that really like those records, so far be it from me to just like trash on them.
There's a lot of people who like a lot of things that we don't understand. And, you know, we like things that other people don't understand. So, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't expect everyone to like Gilla Band, you know?
Yeah,
It's not for everybody, and
Yeah.
the Skiba records aren't for me.
Well, Ed Sheeran went and saw Gilla Band at their last show.
Is that true?
Yeah, I saw a post on Reddit.
Oh, when's that collab
think.
coming? Okay, so let's get into Edging, which is the new single from their new album. And they're about to start a massive world tour. And if you have about $900 to spend, maybe you can get tickets.
Totally worth it, I'm sure.
Let's get into the song itself. I'd see them. I'd go see them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what all they were playing, though, too.
If it was untitled
Just-
front to back.
Yeah,
then
just
I'd
that
go.
album, nothing else.
Yeah, that can't be overstated enough. I love that album. I think every second of that album is perfect. We have an entire video on it. So if you want to hear us geek out about the untitled record, go back a few videos, and it's about like 20 minutes of gushing. But this isn't going to be gushing, is it?
No.
No, it's not. This is maybe a regression, which you had brought up. A lot of bands sort of, that tends to happen, this sort of like exploration of new sounds and then kind of a regression.
Yeah, and it's a lot for a lot of different reasons. Like you've always pointed out, the production. Like the producer that did Untitled is passed away. Mm-hmm. And though they had the opportunity to explore, other kinds of producers, it just seems like they haven't really been interested in going out of their comfort zone that much ever since.
It's unfortunate because if you watch that making of Untitled that MTV aired all those years ago, it's still on YouTube. And actually there's a great video of Mark watching it from like last year and like commentating on it. But, you can see that it's not that he was just hitting record. This guy, Jerry Finn, he's behind a lot of great records. He was really pushing them. And it was a matter of like right place, right time. It's all about timing, right? Mm-hmm. They were up for it. They were willing to explore and push what Blink-182 meant. And he was the perfect guy to facilitate that. And now we have production that's a little lacking, but that's kind of been the norm for them for these last few records.
Yeah, once again, we're not even really talking about... There's just not that much to say about the song is the problem.
I got some notes.
Okay.
I got some notes. I'm going to start with, there's two things that immediately remind me of a better song. Once again, it starts with phased drums, which Feelin' This starts with.
Okay.
And Bored to Death starts with. And
so it's kind of their fallback now.
Yeah, it's odd. I mean, it makes me think, okay, probably this is maybe the album opener or something, but it's just weird to employ that again and make me think of, I don't know, maybe that's the intention, is to make me think of the past and then bring it back in with, hey, we're back. It's Tom and Mark. We're singing together. But it's weird because the guitar in the verse kind of has a similar... If you remember the guitar in the Feelin' This verse, it's like, octave thing, like broken chord going kind of sliding up. That's also happening here. So they're kind of hinting to the past. Well, see, what would be great is if right now I was saying, so they're hinting at the past but pushing forward. But that's not what's happening.
It's completely not what's happening with this song. It's like, first of all, it's called Edging. I don't know. I can tell all the lyrics totally what they were, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, you got the gist. It's lyrically, it's definitely a regression. You got, I'm a punk rock kid, and I fucked a girl in church, and some, I don't know.
It's not that cute anymore. You know, especially when you know what they're capable of. It's
an odd thing to throw in a song. It sort of caught me off guard because, I know he's singing about youth, but, also this guy's, 42 or something like that. And it's just a weird thing to say, I thought. And listen, I know everyone knows Blink as, these funny guys, and you run around naked in the video and dick songs and stuff. But, what I hold near and dear is that other side of Blink, and I'm not seeing that here.
Yeah, and it's what so many, the album that people truly love, I know there's fans of all their albums, but the standout album is Untitled, and I think that really is what people want from them, and instead they're just like, oh no, but the first albums, that's what people want, right?
It's an interesting question. What do people want from them? And, maybe it's a tricky position to be in where you can't please everybody. Some people might be ride or die, take off your pants and jacket fans, and they have no interest in something like Stockholm Syndrome or Always or songs like that. And they might be super thrilled with this. But in my opinion, that's been done. And now they're older and have so much life experience.
Oh, yeah. So much has happened.
So much has happened.
Yeah.
You had a weird throat sound,
my throat made a weird sound.
That's okay. I'll keep it in. A lot has happened, and you have three people that have, kind of a fraught dynamic coming back together. There's a lot to write about there. It could be like Fleetwood Mac sort of
Just
writing about
dig
each other.
in. Yeah. It's almost like they're avoiding all of that and just being like, yeah, so I don't even know. Yeah. Like I said, I don't even really know what the song's about. Remember how earlier I was saying like, oh, I have the chorus stuck in my head.
You already forget
Already
it.
Gone.
It's a little in one ear and out the other. Now, I do want to talk about some Like a Ghost. When Mark says like a ghost, it's very odd delivery. It almost sounds like a ghost. And the vocals are so overly processed and compressed and corrected. And, I kind of miss that rawness. Neither one of them have perfect voices. Mark's usually fine. Tom's all over the place all the time. And that's kind of what you know him for,
Right.
Like, I don't want him to sing perfectly ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I thought the vocals were pretty standard and like the melodies, just everything felt a little bit, I can't think of exactly what I want to say, but it just seemed like everything was the path of least resistance, the most obvious thing.
Pretty obvious. Obvious is a great song from Untitled. What a great song. Love it. So you got that, not super strong production. You have overly processed and compressed vocals. You have a regression lyrically. Now, I'm compelled to, I'd really try to talk positive on this channel. Like I said, there's people that maybe love this song and I don't want to just sit here and trash it. So I think it's really cool that they're back together. And let's see, what else can I say? It's a fun jaunt. I mean, the drums are playful and fun. I think it's really cool that Travis is doing something different because what I wrote down is drums are very un-Travis.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't hear him do that shuffly, like that's a classic shuffle. Haven't really gotten that from him. I guess the closest is like sort of a take on a shuffle for that loop in I Miss You, which is just like a weird snare loop thing. But it's cool to hear him do that. It makes me think of that song, was it Keep Fishin' from Maladroit by Weezer? I'm pretty sure it's that one.
Okay.
And never be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that one. This is stuff I could just look up before we record, but we keep it off the cuff here. So I'm interested to see what this tour is like. A lot of people thought, is Matt Skiba going to stay? And they'll have two guitars and a lot of backing vocal dynamics going on. I think that would have been cool, but maybe that takes away from the whole reunion thing.
Yeah, and it's already a complicated dynamic with that band, so bringing in someone else along for that ride maybe would be a little bit like, can you imagine him trying to navigate that whole situation?
I would definitely feel like a bit of a fourth wheel.
Yeah.
Now, it's always been interesting that they've never expanded the live lineup. They've never really filled it out much. And that sometimes results in like a thin sounding live tone from Tom, particularly in the later years. But it can also result in really cool, fast, crazy punk rock shows. I use the term punk rock loosely. I know. But look up something like the Camden show from 2004. That was on the Untitled tour. They're playing, I've showed you that. They're playing everything about 3 times as fast. No clicks so that they can have their dumb tambourine track and feel in this or anything. It's just like craziness and high energy and sweat and yelling. It's awesome. Do I think this world tour is going to be like that? Absolutely not. There's no way. They're older. Mark's still like, he had cancer like a year ago.
Yeah.
So I think that the shows will probably be pretty safe, but probably pretty euphoric.
I mean, it's going to be great for fans to see them back together. And I think they know it. And I don't think that album is really the point as much. I mean, it's cool they got together and did an album. And maybe that was just part of the whole figuring out the dynamic thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, could they really come back? They could have come back and just played old stuff. And maybe even if this album isn't that good, it's still fun to write together again.
Get together and write in a room again, which Mark confirmed, unlike Neighborhoods, that this is them writing together in a room. And I agree. I think there's some integrity in that, even though we're talking about regression and that doesn't sound good and whatever, there's still an integrity to like, we came back together and made a record. We're not just world tour playing the hits. Come see all the small things. Thanks for the money later.
Yeah.
And it's respectable.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess we're just, we'll keep our eyes out for new era, but the shows are going to be great for fans and for like young people who never got to see them.
That's true too. They've been touring with Skiba, until COVID, but there's a lot of people who never got to see them together. I never got to see them together. I got a bad grade in math class in 2004 and wasn't able to go. And then my friend called me from the show and he was like, dude, they're playing the song you love. And I was like, that's not helpful to me. But thanks. Wish I could have gone.
Yeah.
It was them and No Doubt.
You had the ticket.
I had the ticket. I got grounded because I was bad at math. It was them and No Doubt.
Good thing you got grounded because then you were good at math after that, right?
Yeah. I couldn't go to the Blink show and now I'm a mathematician. Nope. Okay. See you later. I'm Joe.
I'm Stephanie.
This is Not Every Single. We'll talk about Blink more when the record comes out. Bye.